So hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of our Ford GT build. Now we skipped ahead a little bit, we were painting these parts last time and now we're on to assembly. I'll be honest, I think I lost a little bit of footage of this build along the way. Nothing important, just by the look of it, me gluing a few parts in place. So we've got our jet black seats with our Napa black insert in place. We're now putting our Ford GT logos on the headrests of the car. So in the water as usual, off the backing paper, all the moisture from behind it, and then hit it with UMP strong decal solution. As you can see, I am sporting a very nice goth-like fingernail polish today, which will be where my glovers broke when I was doing pro scale paints this morning. I start my day by doing all the paint orders and then move on to doing modelling. That's how it works every day. We're going to put all our dashboard decals in place as well. Glue in place our steering column and then our steering wheel as well. And as always, make sure everything's orientated the right way. Make sure you've got all your controls on the correct side. And be very sparing with your super glue. Now the super glue I'm using is Bob Smith's. We sell this over at Pro Scale. We've got all the relevant ones there, including the Super Gold Plus, which is non-fogging. And this stuff is absolutely awesome. We also sell the spare nozzles and the extender precision nozzle tips as well, so you can get those over there. Just make sure the decals are burnished down in place. We're going to start some final assembly of the kit. So there's a few parts on the dashboard to glue in place. There we go. So with those in, now these are the wheels. Now this is about the 6th set I printed off. I've now incorporated tyres onto them with a bit of help. And here we are on the spray booth now, about to paint them. So we've got some Mr. Surfacer 5000 black again. And we're going to go around and just lightly prime all the wheels. Now, because the tyre's in place, because it was so much easier to do this and try and faff around and get the tyre to fit, we're going to have to mask off and spray the rim separately, but very easy to do, and all will become apparent a bit later on. So we're just going to get a nice coat of Mr. Surfacer 5000 black down on all the wheels. Now the original colour I did choose was going to be titanium gold, and we will spray that colour in a second. Pro Scale titanium gold looks excellent. I just think the gold clashed with the bronze a little bit on the body, so I opted to respray them silver, titanium silver gold later on, just to give it a bit less of a gold effect, and I think it looked better for sure. So like I say, a couple of light coats of Mr. Surfacer 5000 black, getting all those recesses, but happy with how these wheels turned out, not too bad at all. So with the circle template to the right size, we're just going to pop in the exact place we need it. We've got some Pro Scale Paints titanium gold. We're just going to put down nice light coat to this. Now, sacrilegious, I'm using the wrong airbrush. Yes, I'm using my normal detail brush and not my metallic airbrush. Shame on you, Paul. I think I realised about halfway through I picked the wrong airbrush up. Yes, I'm a bit of a moron, that's for sure. But as you can see, these artist circle templates are really cheap. You can pick these up for a couple of pounds and you can get them anywhere. Art stores, the range, stationery shops, if there's any of those left anywhere in the world. Or you can get them on Amazon, eBay. They are relatively cheap. I would recommend buying several different brands because they tend to vary in size microscopically, and you'd be surprised just how much of a difference that little imperfection in size can make in getting the perfect size mask. So I have about 3 of these. So we've painted those up. Ignore those for now because it's going to go a little bit wrong again in a minute. You'll see. I think I left the footage in. I think I did. We realised a major problem. Anyway, the lights have been painted up on the front. We painted these in titanium gold. And we're going to install our light lenses in. We give them a wash of Tamiya enamel wash as well. Seats glued in place as well. Nothing really fancy on this interior. Like I say, it's quite a minimalistic interior. It's very pretty, but there's not a lot going on. So the carpet's been flocked with Pro Scale black flock. My wonderful assistant Hannah has done that for me. There's our seats in place. Now we can get our dashboard in place. Yeah, not a lot to look at on the interior on this. You could, of course, fancy it up a little bit by going for a different colour. But I saw the black interior and thought, yep, that's the one for me. I think it suits the interior very well. It's a very dark, yes, nice looking interior. I'd be quite happy sat in this if it fit, which I probably wouldn't, to be honest. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful interior of an absolutely stunning car. So dashboard glued in place. Like so. Make sure we get no glue marks anywhere. And then the door cards, again, glued in place. Very carefully, I don't want to point now. Now, I've discussed this before. I keep a finger off like that so I don't get glue marks in. So for me, I just extend it. I'm not pointing or doing anything, just keeping it off the model. Or you end up getting fingers everywhere, which then leave fingerprints, glue smudges, paint smudges, so it's just easier. We've assembled all the front end. We've got all our subframe together. We've got our polycaps in the hubs. We've got our discs in place. We've painted our calipers in Tamiya enamel gold. And now onto the rear section. Again, to be careful of any glue marks. Very sparingly applying any glue to any of the areas. I always use the gold on these parts because it gives you a bit more time in case you think, oops, I've glued that in the wrong way or the wrong place. You can get the part back off, whereas the other glues will just dry instantly and you're like, uh-oh, now I'm in trouble. So again, just follow the instructions, getting everything orientated the right way, getting everything assembled correctly. Quite a simple kit this. While it's a neutral Tamiya, and it is a very, very nice kit, there's not a huge amount of parts to it, hence why we're only a 2-part build. I could have broke it down to 3 and made the videos like 25 minutes or 23 minutes long each, but I thought there's no point, we'll keep them the usual length. It's just one of those kits where there's not a huge part count. It all goes together really well right up until you put the body on, and there's a major flaw with the kit, which we'll discuss when we get there. If you've built the kit, you will more than likely know what I'm talking about. But we'll talk about that when we get a bit closer to it at the end. So gluing the front section in place. And then we're going to glue the back section in place. Like so. All fits in very positively. Fits together very, very well. As you can see, our metallics are looking absolutely spectacular. They are looking very, very nice. And then we can glue our interior in place as well. There's a couple of locating points inside. So again, a bit of Bob Smith's gold. Line up the locating points. Push it in place and just hold it firmly for a few seconds. And there we go. There's our interior in place. Engine now, not a bad engine. You can't see a huge amount of it through the back window. So I wouldn't go too mad super detail in it because you can't really see it all that much. It's like a faux engine. It's there, but it's not. It's fake. It's like the top half of the engine. It looks alright through the engine cover, don't get me wrong. It paints up really well. It assembles really well. And with a touch of panel line wash, it brings it alive a little bit. But like I say, you can't really see a huge amount through the back window, so I wouldn't go too OTT on this. Unless that's your game, you know, that's the thing you like to do. Then knock yourself out and enjoy yourself. So again, a couple of locating points for the engine. So some Bob Smiths on there. Make sure we've got it the right way around. Make sure everything fits in place where it should. It's a Tamiya kit. If something doesn't fit, it's something you've done. 100%. Well, actually not 100% because we're going to find out in a bit. 90% of the time, if it's a Tamiya kit and it doesn't fit, you've probably done something. So Tamiya panel line wash, we're just going to add it all over the engine. No real carefulness here. We're just going to get it everywhere and we'll wipe it off later with a cotton bud with some odorless mineral spirits on. My theory or my philosophy is if it'll hold a wash, give it a wash. So any recesses, any raised areas, get a wash in there and then we'll wipe off the excess later on. The enamel wash doesn't react with the lacquer paint whatsoever, so perfectly safe to wipe on. And we'll remove it with some Santador from Winsor & Newton later, which is just an odourless mineral spirit. Now, just test fitting my wheels. I didn't leave a bit of footage in, I thought I did. At one point on the first set of these printed wheels with the tyres, which was like set number 7 of the final ones, I tried the brake discs and they wouldn't fit in. I hadn't done the inner diameter of the wheel big enough for the brake discs, so I had to go back onto Tinkercad, start again, and make them bigger on the inside. So that's actually the second set of those wheels with tyres, and probably the 8th set of wheels overall I made for this car. So yes, trial and error. We got there in the end though. Now the rear lights, paint them red. Easiest way to paint these, dip them in X27 Tamiya clear red. Use a cotton bud to get, toothpicks to get the excess out, and let it dry. Now I wasn't happy with the original colour, so we're back in the booth. We sprayed the tyre again, because what it was, where I mounted the tyre to the wheel, I had kind of 2 points I could pick where the tyre met the body of the wheel. And I went a bit high on the first one, so the tyres were a little bit too low profile. So I basically resprayed the rubber black, Pro Scale rubber black, and then using titanium silver this time, which has got a hint of gold to it. I've repositioned it, and as you can see, we've got a bit more tyre on there now. I think it looks a bit more natural and a bit more realistic rather than being super low profile. But great looking wheel. We got there in the end. Cost me like nearly an entire bottle of resin for these wheels. But hey, I printed them. I modified them. I made them fit eventually. And basically I was using the sizes of the original wheels and tyres to keep the outer diameter the same. But just wanting to get a larger wheel. So yeah, a bit of a nightmare getting there. And yeah, I won't be buying another 3D printer in a hurry, but hey, nonetheless. Right, now the body's been drying for well over a week, so we've got some water, a little bit of fairy liquid in, washing up liquid. We've got our Trizik 6 and 8000 pads, and we're going to sand all the body back to get rid of any dust spots, any imperfections, take away a bit of the thickness of the 2K, and we're going to polish it all up with our Proxon rotary tool, our Zoom On compound sponges, and our Menzerna compounds and Autoglym super resin polish. So we're going to go around just systematically all around the body, not really applying a lot of pressure, just letting the pads do their work. I'm just going to take back all the 2K so we get a nice flat uniform surface. Now we're not trying to sand through the 2K, and you'd be surprised how easy it can be to sand through. So take your time on any corners or raised areas, and just really take your time here. Now you may find on like this bonnet here, I've got a bit of dust. You may have to step it up to 3000, which is what I did here. 3000, then 6, then 8, just to try and get rid of that imperfection of a dust spot. And I did probably get rid of it about 80%. And I just wasn't happy to push it any further because I think I would have burned through the clear. So sometimes, as I always say, you've just got to take that slight imperfection to save ruining a build. So I'm happy with that. Once we're all cleaned up, we've got our Zoom On polishing sponges. These are going to be attached to my Proxon rotary tool, which is on a foot pedal. And we're going to use a Menzerna 2500, then a 3500 with the medium sponge, and then Autoglym super resin polish with the soft final red sponge. What we're going to do is going to very carefully go all over the body with our rotary tool and polish it all up until we get our nice high shine back. And as you can see to the left, I have an entire storage box dedicated to polishing the cars. I've got loads of 3M Trizik pads, I've got loads of the Zoom On pads, and the easiest way to do this is to put your compound on the body with your finger, spread it about as thin as possible, and you'll find that then the rotary tool spits off very little of the compound. You can see I've got a little bit too much here, so I'm like, yeah, we'll put that back on the bowl. And I'm just going to spread around. I've still got a bit too much here. Just going to spread it all over, and then we get our rotary tool. It's on about 5000 RPM. I'm just going to very gently go around and sand it on. Again, be careful of like those A-pillars where they are super thin, and also be careful of any raised areas or edges because this will burn through it very quickly. I'm not applying a lot of pressure. You can see the sponge isn't very compacted. I'm just going to carefully go around all these areas, and what we're trying to do is, where we've sanded with the 3M pads, it will have left micro abrasions in there. We're trying to get rid of those, and we're going to go up through the compounds from an aggressive coarse compound to a slightly less aggressive compound to a fine polish, and that should hopefully leave us with a beautifully polished, shiny body. Now, I've stayed away from these polishing pads for many years. I tried them years ago. They weren't the best set. These Zuma ones are by far the best set I've used. The Velcro's a lot better. Some of the cheaper ones I've used, after one use, the tool, the polishing pad would not stick to the tool. It would just fling off. The Zoom ones are very good. We've got tons of these in stock over at ProScale, so come on over. And I'd highly recommend the Manzana compounds, which you can get on Amazon. Like I say, I used a 2500, 3500, and I used some Autoglym super resin polish at the end. And this is the coarse compound, and just look at the shine we've got back already after the coarse compound. Not a fine one, a very coarse. We've already got a beautiful shine back. Absolutely beautiful. It's a game changer, this. It's well worth doing. You just need to be really careful of the tool. You don't catch anywhere on the body with it. That you don't burn through anywhere. But once you've used it a couple of times, it becomes very, very easy to use, almost second nature, and you will polish your cars super quick. What used to take me a couple of hours takes me less than 20 minutes now. It is super fast to do, and the results are way better. Like I say, this is just the coarse compound. And look at that shine that's back already. Absolutely beautiful. So we're going to go through all the different ones. This is now the 2500, sorry, the 3500, which ironically feels more gritty than the 3500. Yes, I know. This is more grey, and it's a bit thicker as well. So it's going to go round. Get a nice even layer all over. We've now got the blue sponge in place, which is the medium one. Going to wipe off our finger. There we go, same speed as before. It's a softer sponge, this one, so you need to be careful. You don't want to compress too much. And the worst thing you can do is catch the body with that yellow part of the tool because it's hard plastic. If you're not confident in using the tool, I'd recommend wrapping a bit of electrical tape around it as a little bit of cushioning. But if you're competent and you're careful, you can keep it away from the body. And again, just to go over with that medium compound, or fine compound, sorry it is, the shine we're getting back is absolutely beautiful. And we're going around with a nice bit of cotton or t-shirt material, just removing all the excess and polishing it up to a nice high shine. And then for the final one, we've got our red soft sponge in and some Autoglym super resin polish. So this is a lot more forgiving to use. This is the kind of stuff you'd use on your car just to polish it up. Smells fantastic as well. And again, we're going to go round and just polish it all up with the rotary tool. Now this sponge is super soft, so again, you don't need a lot of pressure. You can see how easy it compresses. You just want to let the tool do the job. Just let it go over, glide over, let it do its polishing. I tend to go over it twice each section. And just be systematic and just be careful of that yellow tool. All over the body, all over the mirrors as well, to get everything nice. Then we've got a nice bit of microfiber here. And as you can see, the shine we've got there, absolutely phenomenal. I've got a toothbrush here for getting any residue out from all the panel lines and the gaps and what have you. But this is polished up, absolutely stunning this has. It's a beautiful colour. And I'm so glad I picked this over the blue. The blue would look phenomenal. And trust me, it looks phenomenal on the wide body Mustang you're going to see after this one. But I am glad I picked this colour. A little bit out of the box kind of thing. A little bit away from the norm, but I think it looks beautiful. Now on the interior, we've got some Vallejo model colour black, thinned with a drop of water. We've got a nice flat brush, and we're just going to paint all the roof lining, all the A-pillars, and in and around the engine bay. You can't really see these areas, but we don't want to cast in any shadows or seeing it if you look through a window or a certain angle. So we're just going to paint it all in black. Now don't be worried if you get any excess on the body. It's a water-based paint. It will wipe straight off the 2K. Even if it's dried, it will not damage it at all. So be careful. Don't be as messy as you can. Sorry, be as tidy as you can. Don't be as messy as you can. and just ensure you get all the coverage everywhere you need. Wheel arches, the same again. Again, these are areas you're not really going to see, but without this black paint, it would be very noticeable. So it's worth taking your time at this stage. You could mask an airbrush should you wish, but I think it's a bit OTT, to be honest. Now, I couldn't resist a test fit to see how these wheels sit. So clipping the body on, we're going to get our first inkling of the problem with this kit, which is the body doesn't sit flush on the side of the car. So we're going to have to rectify that later. So light units in place. We've got the actual light units on the body, and then the clear parts we painted red earlier in place. We painted the back of those in silver before we pop them in. We've got several clear pieces which have grill decals on. Now there is a detail set available for this kit. If you can find it, I highly recommend it, even if it's just for these grills, because these aren't the best part of the kit, but they go in okay. And then the headlights, the clear goes in first, so get it all in place, line it up. Then I like to hit it from the inside with the super glue. There we go, just get it all lined up, and then a couple of strategic points at the back where it can't be seen. A little dab of Bob Smith's. Then we get a little bit of Bob Smith's activator on a micro brush again. And just touch, touch, and that will dry that instantly. And we can repeat that for the other side as well. There we go. One thing I always notice at the end of the build, my bench gets more and more cluttered. It's just ever encroaching mass of crap on the bench. So we've got the light units here. We've decaled these up. There's a couple of decals that go on each one. Instructions are a little bit confusing where these go, so make sure you familiarize yourself where they go before you commit. Once they're in place, we'll set them in place with some UMP decal solutions. And then again, sit them on top of their clear component. Get them sat in place, and again, exactly as before, get the CA glue on an area that can't be seen. And then get some activator again. Touch, and that will set that instantly. And there we go. There's our lights in place. Nice and easy. Looking the part, they're looking very good. Now, we've got these little sections that go in place, and these would have been parts that would have been carboned, but we've opted to spray them black. So I've actually done them in Tamiya semi-gloss black, and exactly as before, we get them in place, hit them in CA glue from behind. I do from behind, so we don't get any CA glue creeping out the edge. It's definitely what we don't want. So this way, it still gets the structural support without the risk of any CA glue splurging out where we don't want it. And you may need to find that you may need to just add a little bit extra to that side piece as well, just to get it. Now the engine cover, in place, like so. Again, CA kicker. Now, the Bob Smith CA kicker, I've used zip kicker for years, and it always gave me a headache, a banging headache, so I used it very sparingly. The Bob Smith's kicker that we sell on ProScale smells a lot better, although I would recommend smelling it, and it doesn't affect me at all. So it's actually nice to be able to have it on the bench when I need it, like with this part here, where I've glued the back end in, and I just need to glue the sides in place quickly, that it's there ready to use. So yeah, if you have any problems with kickers, CA glue activators, they give you headaches and that, have a go to the Bob Smiths, because I find it absolutely brilliant and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Of course, with any chemicals, I wouldn't recommend breathing any in. But obviously, if you get no adverse reaction, it's better than getting an adverse reaction. A little bit of glue, a little bit of kicker. I'm pointing at something in the air again. It's up there. And then same on this side as well. There we go. Find a bit of kicker to hold everything in place. Now the clear parts. Now the mask set comes with the kit. So as I always say with these mask sets, you'll either get it on first time or it'll take you about 20 goes to get it in place. For me, I got it near enough bob on first time. So once it was in place, I thought, right, it's going to be easier to cut off so I don't damage it. So just cut it away from its mounting point. And then you need to make sure it's all down and burnish all the edges down. Yeah, they're funny, these masking sets. Like I say, it's either first time or 20 times. I also like to get a cotton bud and make sure all the edges are burnished down. Obviously be careful because these clear parts are brittle. I'm not a fan of the clear body cars that Tamiya offered a few years back because the plastic is silly brittle. We've masked everything off and painted everything in Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. Again, I think I lost a little bit of footage. I'm not sure where it went. This was built over a numerous weeks with several builds on the go with several different memory cards. I think a little bit of footage has been mixed up. So apologies, but it was literally just me spraying light coats of Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. So we've not missed out a massive amount. But all nicely masked up and ready to go. There we go. So the glass fits into that engine cover surround. The windscreen just sits in place quite positively. So again, we hit it with some CA glue in non-visible spots. And then hit it with some kicker. See, I've lost my micro brush now. We've still got the kicker on the bench, but we've lost our micro brush. You'll find with the micro brushes using them for kicker, you'll get several goes, and all of a sudden the brush part of the micro brush will come off and stick to what you glued it to. Does it to me all the time, and it's usually at the most inopportune time. It's a nightmare. Now, a word of warning using a Bob Smith's Gold, it's happened to me several times now. When you're doing clear parts, especially if you've wiped them down, you'll get static on them, and the static will pull the CA glue onto the glass. It's happened to me a few times now. So try and wipe over your glass with your anti-static brush if you've got one, just to stop this problem. But other than that, the Bob Smith's Gold is fantastic. And if you're careful and you do get any on the glass, using the Bob Smith's debonder, you can actually get it off to a degree. It will take the majority of it off. So you can kind of fix the problem if needed. But yeah, the Bob Smith Super Gold with the activator, absolutely brilliant on glass. Works really well. Right then, let's get this on. Let's see how we're looking. So these wheels look absolutely fantastic. They really do suit this car. I'm glad I painted them silver. I think I actually went with silver in the end. I think this is actually bright superfine silver it is, sorry. It's not titanium silver. I went with superfine silver. And I'm glad I did. I think the contrast in silver against the bronze looks really well. Now, here's the problem with this kit. This center section just won't close up. Now, a little bit off camera, but literally where the body mates to the semi-gloss part of the side, you need to apply a little bit of Seagull on the back, hold it together, get a little bit of kicker, and then put the kicker in through the back wheel arch so it can't be seen. Get it in place. Look, that brush is going to stick. I told you. See, at the most inopportune time, it'll stick. Told you. Same on the front and the sides as well. Just a little bit of glue. And you'll find it will hold it in place just fine. It is a problem on this kit. My first one did this. Everybody I've spoke to, it's done it as well. So it's easily rectifiable. It just shouldn't do it. And with some careful gluing, you'll be just fine. There's our wheels in place. They fit absolutely perfect. I think these wheels look fantastic on this car as well. They're a lot bigger. They're a nicer design. I think the silver on the bronze looks absolutely phenomenal. Wing mirror. We've got the stalks, which are painted in semi-gloss black, and the actual mirror itself, which is in the bronze body colour. So a little bit of CA glue to get those assembled together. And then we've got our metal inserts that come with the kit just to stick in place as well. They're fiddly, these little things, so take your time here. Make sure your glue is dried on your mirrors before you attempt this so you don't get glue everywhere. Just find a cotton bud, burnish it down until it's sat in place. And then we can finally attach the mirrors to the body as well. Tiny bit of Bob Smith's. Very positive locating on the mirrors on these. So make sure they are angled correctly down. And then we'll do exactly the same on the other side. There we go. And then one bit I nearly forgot was the brake caliper decals. Very, very nearly forgot. Spotted at the last moment. So the wheels came off again. Like I say, thankfully everything fits fine with my 3D printed wheels. We've got some decals for the back end as well for the lights. So they're going in place as well. Of course, you could paint these silver and then paint red if you wanted. But I'll be honest, the decals actually look just fine. So set them in place as per usual. And then the finishing touch is a zoom on US license plate. So this is an embossed piece of photo etch which you cut off and glue in place, and then there's a matching decal to go over the top, and because it's embossed, the decal conforms around it and looks like a perfect scale stamped number plate. Absolutely brilliant. Again, we've got these over a pro scale. If you go and have a look, we do US, Canadian and Japanese currently, and they look absolutely fantastic. Currently I'm dropping bits on the bench. We've got a bit of Bob Smiths on the back. I'm just going to carefully apply this PE number plate exactly where we want it. Again, the Bob Smiths gold gives you a little bit of time to move things around. Once that's glued, we've got the decal in place, and we just need to line this up with the raised areas of the decal, the PE. And then we can set it in place with our decal solutions as before. There we go. Just one number plate on this on the back. Some UMP strong to set it in place. There we go. And then the finishing touch is a Ford logo from the front. This is an MSN Creation logo I've got on here. It's on the 3D type. Self-adhesive. Just pops in. Much better than the kit decals. Of course, if you want to use the decals, make sure you put them under your clear coat. They always look better with the decals. And then for the final time, pop in our wheels in place. Now the backs are larger than the fronts, so make sure you're getting the right way around. And there we go. We are done. The final touch is to give it a spray wax with the Ultimate Polish Spray Shine. A nice clean piece of fine microfiber. Spray it onto the cloth, not the car. It's way easier to do. And this just needs wiping over. It's not abrasive. It doesn't do anything. It just needs wiping over. It'll haze up. You can put it on the clear part to be careful as well. Once it hazes up, wipe it off with a clean bit of microfiber, and it'll leave a nice shine behind. So yeah, this car didn't turn out too bad at all. I've built it before. It is a very simple kit for a Tamiya kit, so if you're looking for something different that isn't too difficult to work on, I'd highly recommend it. Out of the box, it builds up really well. Other than those slight fit issues with the side sills and the body, which is pretty easy to fix, to be fair. Although with this being a state-of-the-art Tamiya kit, it shouldn't happen. And although I said earlier, if you're having a problem, it's probably you. On this, I don't think it is. I think it's just a fault with the kit. I personally think it's the dashboard fouling on the windscreen. But obviously you get to that stage where you're like, yeah, let's just get this thing built. And there we go. Wheels look phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant. Body colour looks great. That Zeus bronze is a stunning colour. And the zoom on plates are a really nice finishing touch. So really happy with this. I think the only kind of regret I've got is not carbon fibre in it. But I think to try and do it myself and match it all would have been an absolute nightmare. So if you can get the carbon set, which is our production, I believe, I'd highly recommend grabbing it. But a nice build and a very generous gift from Graham. Thank you, mate. I hope you've enjoyed watching this build. I did enjoy the kit. It is a very nice kit to build. And I'm happy with how this has turned out. And some pictures. So this was primed in ProScale Grey Primer. Painted in ProScale Zeus Bronze. This gives a Tamiya black panel line wash. We cleared it in ProScale 2K Clear. The interior is a combination of ProScale Jet Black and Nappa Black leather with black flocking on the carpets as well. The wheels I bought from Colts, modified them to fit. They were sprayed in superfine silver and pro scale rubber black. All the black on the car, which should have been carbon, I've done in semi-gloss LP5. And all the metallics on the car are pro scale metallics. And yeah, very happy how this turned out. Could it be better? Yeah, could have. Could have been worse? Oh yeah, could have been a lot worse. But it's a lovely kit to build, and I highly recommend it to anyone. So there we go. Another build off the bench. On to our next build, which is the Iceman Collection's wide body Revell 71 Mustang. Which again, another kit, well, a body kit that isn't without its problems. But anyway, there we go. Let's go back to me with some final thoughts. Okay, there we go. All done. What can I say? It's a great kit. It really is a good kit. It's quite a simple kit. So, as I said before, if you're looking for something to get your teeth into that isn't over complicated or a massive part to build, this is a good one for it. It's a new tool. It's less than 4 or 5 years old. It does have that problem with the body not fitting the chassis properly. If you built the kit, let me know if you had the problem or you didn't. Although someone did send me pictures of the week telling me they didn't have the problem. Yeah, there's massive gaps in the pictures. So anyway, the body should sit flush and it doesn't. So if you've built this kit and had the same problem, let me know. Other than that, it's a good kit. I'm glad I chose the colour I did. I think thinking outside the box sometimes. I'm a stickler for keeping with OE colours. I do like to do that. But I thought this car would suit that Zeus bronze, and I was right, it does, it really does. And I'm glad I dabbled in the 3D printer as well. Although it wasn't very successful, well, it was over a period of time, it was too much of a distraction. So I'm better off not having it, and I can rely on other people to print things if I need. So yes, there we go. So another build off the bench, a very generous gift from Graham. Thank you, buddy. I enjoyed the build. It's a great kit, and I'm very happy with the outcome of it. So there we go. On to the next one. So the next kit you're going to see me build is Revell's 71 Mustang, the yellow one we did here a while back. And spoiler alert, there's the one you're going to see next because it's already filmed. So it's a 71 Ford Mustang from Revell, which is a brand new toolkit. Fantastic kit. We built it about 5 months ago, I think it was. And this is with the Iceman Collection's wide body kit, which looks amazing when it's on. If I'm generous, I'll pop a spoiler pickup very quick for you. But that's the next video build, so make sure you tune in for that. And like I say, if you want early access to it, become a patron down below. There's all the applicable tiers, all the perks. You get 3 months early access on all the videos, a bench update every Saturday that's patron exclusive. It's like half an hour plus long. 10% off a pro scale paint if you go tier 4 or higher, I think it is. You get access to a Facebook group that's solely for supporters and a Facebook Messenger chat. There's like 70 of us in that chat. We can talk to me, ask questions, show us stuff you bought, built, whatever. Just somewhere to shoot the breeze. And obviously with your support, I can keep doing this. This is my day-to-day job. And yeah, with support from patrons and the like, I can keep going. So yeah, the links for that are down below. There's other links down there. There's a PayPal me and a Buy Me Coffee link if you want to do a one-off donation. And there's links to everything else associated with me. There's ISM, Pro Scale Paint. You've got my scale mates. There's an email address to get in touch with me. Oh, there's links to the off-air hangout group. There's so much down there I forget and have it in a different order every time. But there's loads down there. And of course, as always, make sure you sub to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up or down. Make sure you hit that bell to get notified of all the latest videos. And please leave a comment. Love reading all your comments. I might not reply to them all, but I do read and appreciate every single comment on the builds. If you built this kit, let me know. Do you have any problems with it? Do you have the same issues I had? Yeah, let me know. And there we go. So there's another one off the bench, onwards and upwards. And I will see you next time for the Ford Mustang wide body. So there you go. Enjoy your day, everyone, and a huge thank you to all my patrons whose names are going to flash up on screen right now. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.